Hi my friend, it's Pat Sloan here. We are on week 2 of the butterfly quilt. This is Tulip Pink's butterfly quilt that so many of us love and are now making together, and you can make it too. Now I am using the kit that she came out with this coloration. Now many of you had bought the pattern prior, so you're using whatever fabrics you love. But anyways, that's what I'm doing and how I'm going through it. So we're going to look at that. We have today's organization. It's a challenge. Today is kind of a short challenge. It's not too big. And then I'm going to show you some of the fabric stuff that I did after we videoed the other day. Okay, so the first thing is we're on the chunky cross. Is it called cross? Yeah, the chunky cross block. So here are 2 of them. The 2 sets, every time, remember, you're doing 2 sets because one goes on each side of the butterfly. They're identical sides, so you know, this is going to be on this side and the other one will be on the other side. So there are 5 of them again, just like last week, and I will walk you through and show you all the color combinations. So let's go do that. So let's look at this block for today and pick all the fabrics from the kit. And I'm still deciding on whether I'm going to change out any on these. These are a little bit smaller block than last time. You're making the same number of them. And so what you want to do is find it, because there's 2 blocks that look a little bit similar. There is what we're looking for, which is the sort of fat, smaller plus sign. But you can see, like here, there's a bigger one. So look at the colors. I'm going to show you the colors. And you can tell by the colors too, because this colorway isn't used in the small one. They don't have the same colors, you know, the same fabrics. So let's take a look at what I picked. Yes, I picked it via the chart. So this is the first set, which is the kind of this purple that goes with this shade. And there's several shades of purple. Like this is also purple, but it looks more blue, doesn't it, when you put it next to that purple? But this is one of the sets, which is kind of more of a bluey purple. You've got that floral, which is this same floral, and they all have different size cuts if you're using the kit. We have a turquoise and the little speckles with the small bird. Yeah, and then the turquoise with the green dot. So turquoise with the green dot. Okay, and then there's 2 more. Here is I think they're a geode pattern, like, you know, like minerals. And then the limey solid. And then oranges, the geode and the polka dot, which we've already used the polka dot. I think we already used some of the other ones too. So I was thinking on here of switching out the geode and putting a stripe just for something a little different. I have my Tulip Pink that I have from Curious and Curiouser is mostly pinks and a little bit of purple and yellow. So it's not sort of mixing as easily as I had expected, but that's okay because I love the fabrics from the kit, and so I'm only going to change out a little bit. So I think I'm going to change this one. So that stripe will be the background and the chunky plus will be the solid. And then I was also thinking of maybe changing out on here. Now the plus is in the middle, and I do like that, but I thought I might just use this one that I have and do that. So I'm thinking, I also have these roses, which are really pretty. So it makes the block just a tiny bit darker, but I think the roses are better if I'm going to switch it out because it's a good high contrast, and that will be the chunky part, as you can see, like on there. So that is my set of blocks. I will, you know, that I used. These are all the fabrics that I used. Now I want to remind you, when you're cutting from a kit, kits are not usually filled with lots of extra fabric. They're usually fairly to the amount that's needed, because otherwise it costs you more. The kits would be much more expensive if they're giving you lots of extra fabric that you wouldn't use. So you want to just cut the shapes that you want. Don't be cutting long strips, because that's going to waste fabric. You will waste fabric and not be able to make the half square triangles easily. You'd have to piece the fabric. You want to just cut the shapes that you need, and you know, be mindful of that, and don't just cut width of fabric. Actually, in any pattern that's written, you should just be cutting the shapes you need, unless the pattern tells you cut with the fabric and then subcut. If it doesn't tell you that, just cut the shapes that you need. Here is what I mean by just cutting what you need. This will be the middle of the chunky square. I do have to cut it to size, but I cut out mostly, pretty close to what I need there. And then I have 2 more units that I will cut this way, or I could cut them this way. I could do them like this, something like that, and then cut 2 from it. And so I am just then having this left. So I cut out of the corner here what I need, and then I will subcut from these to the center and the 2 strips. And then what this does is I'm not using all this other fabric. I did not even cut across here. Maybe I could have. I don't cut lengthwise for just these 2 pieces. That is super wasteful, and you will run out of fabric if you're doing that. So there you go. We will have beautiful chunky little plus signs now. So besides those 2, these 2 here, besides these 2, we have these other color combinations. I got them all cut and I'm working on them. So what I was doing was sewing these small strips and then this to the center and then doing 3 across. So these are in progress and I will have them done for next week. And last week's are all done. This is the last one I did, and then the other 2. So there are 5 again, different color combinations, and 2 of each block, which are 10. Woo! It's a sewing thing. It's a sewing thing to do this butterfly quilt. All right, our challenge today for the organization is loose threads. So you might have a bunch of spools like this where there is not much on them. They might, I can even see through there. So I need to sew these down or put them in my bobbins, put them with the bobbins. The other thing you could do is look at your bobbins and see, do you have some that are almost used up? Then sew those off, use those up first so that you can get a free bobbin again, empty bobbin again. The other thing I did was look at an area that I have down here. So let's go over there. Today's challenge of tidying up, I am going to address this drawer where I keep what I use, kind of like a working set of a lot of different colors. Lights are more in here, darkers of thread colors are in here. So, but this has happened. Look at this, all shoved along the edges. So I'm going to remove all of this and put it with my main thread storage. And so this is a short, dainty tidy up where I'm just going to remove all this out and then wind off those 2 spools or sew them off that are just have a couple of threads. So I pulled all those out. And I will go and put these in my red boxes that have all my thread. I have a lot of thread. And thread organization in general, I have different sizes of weights of thread, different material, like there's some poly, then mostly the cotton, but I have a couple of that. And so that's like a bigger task for another day. But this is what I got done today. I got those cleared out of there so I don't have that sort of mess of just jammed in spools. Okay, then I did do taped for some fabric sorting. That what I was doing, what I talked about the other day, I believe that was on Tuesday, which was fabric. That's on that day I taped it, what I did. So let's go look. So first, let's just go through the things from yesterday that I talked about. So I'm here still getting them organized. So I'm going to film and show you what I did. So remember I had 3 of these a while back when I showed you. I had my Christmas fabrics and I decluttered them down, destashed, and I have, the big one is full. I couldn't even put those fabrics in it. So that's really great because I used to have all 3 of these. The other third one's just a bit smaller because they're nesting boxes. So I'm taking this middle one, which is the bigger size, for Christmas fabric. So I have the Christmas fabric I was gifted. Beautiful, beautiful fabric. So that is going in here in this box. And then I think I'm going to keep this bundle. So I'm going to take this one and put it in here too because it is all Christmas fabric. And I love it because it has, again, you know, my thing. I love city scenes, any kind of city kind of stuff like this. Okay, so now I can put it in. It's got ice skates on the fabric. So this whole bundle is going in here because it could make a wonderful, wonderful project. So that will go on the shelf on top of the bigger one. And then I can have a bit more Christmas fabric. Okay, the other thing I want to do is, okay, put that there for right now. I've got the panels, and I'm not sure where I'm going with this, so I'm putting them back over here on this shelf over there. Just there's different things in those bins. They'll go there until I find if I have more panels. These are pre-cuts, same with them. Like this one, I know I need to find, what I have to do is find a great pattern that uses a jelly roll that can make a pretty decent sized lap quilt, kind of more long. Or actually no, it needs to make as big as a twin size bed. That's really where I need to go. And this is an older fabric line from Janet Claire, so I don't know, I can't get this on again. I would be doubtful. Maybe if I hunt around. Flight, might find it on Etsy. I'll take a look. So, because I think whatever I'm doing, either it's going to have a lot of background for a block, and then just a little bit, just one jelly roll to use in addition. But anyways, I'm babbling. This has to be a project to make a twin size bed. That size of a lap, so it needs to be that big. Okay, plus the other two pre-cuts that I'm not dealing really with pre-cuts right now. I will think about them later in the month. So they're all going to go over there, but this roll will go in a bag and marked as a project and go for when I go through the project stuff. Okay, now this is the hard part for me. I don't know why, but let me just show you these fabrics. I kept all these because they're a really good size for backings or maybe borders or something, and they're really pretty. Well, this one was one of my fabric lines, and I'm thinking, am I going to use all these for backings? This one is this is like a textured kind of print, and I think it's one from Riley Blake, it says. And it would be good for a background. So for me, this needs to go with the teals and stuff as a background. Or I have in my more workspace in the dining room where my fabrics are, I also have a shelf that has some pieces that are can be used for backgrounds and things. So I think that will go over there. Then the rest of this, I have to decide. I think this will go to a new home, even though it's lovely and I think it would work out. Either that or I could keep it. Wait. I could keep it for the socialites. I wonder how much is here. Because this would go, this is Joanna Figueroa's fabric. Okay, so that's where that's going to go. So now I know I have a home for that. So that will be the socialites backing, be part of, but I don't think it'll fit the whole thing. This one I've kept forever because I had a project in mind and I just really love it. It's the kind of thing that just comes around every so often. So I'm going to put it with the teal piece over here so that it will go, it will go on that shelf. I think this one will probably go off to the charity, and this one will go off to the charity. This one I will keep, think about a backing for myself, and same with my fabric, and this one. So I only got rid of one. The rest of them all went back in here. But this will go, this is more like a background rather than a backing for a quilt. And this is a particular backing, but I can leave it in here. I don't have to put it in the socialites bin because obviously that bin is very full. So I've done a little bit of work here. I have two things for the pile for the giveaway. And this has to go in another spot. So we'll switch those out. And now the other thing I have to do here is look in this bin where I saved off these map fabrics, and these were like patches from Sun Studio. I'm not sure why they were in here, but I think I just felt like they could maybe go on that quilt. I had that jelly roll in here, so this thing is covered with stuff. But this pile is fabric that's been around, I've had for a while, and I think I was going to try and use these. I may have even started. Was there a block? I thought I spotted a block in here. I know I spotted it. Oh, here it is. I think I made one block. I think this is it. Oh, there's two of them. I don't know what I was following, what pattern now. I think it was a friend's pattern quite a while back, but there was stars. So I've got these two, which, you know, this is the New York City map fabric. I don't know. I got a train for Greg, but you know, what am I going to do with these? Part center, what? I might just put them with the map stuff, but all of this, I am probably going to just keep a couple pieces and let a bunch of this go. This is my fabric from a while back. Yeah, so a stripe where it's not really enough stripe to do much of anything with. Let these go, and then I might keep this stripe because there's a little bit more of it, and keep this green. I really like this. This is this was a line from a designer, Denise Schmidt, called Jump Rope, and I really liked that line. It's quite a long time ago, but I think I could use it in the greens. I think I could keep it. So I have a bit of stuff for the greens, a bit of stuff for the teal, and then I will figure out what to do with all this map stuff. That needs to be maybe its own, you know, I'm going to get rid of half of my solids, so maybe I will put a bin full of sort of these specialty fabrics. Either that, or I just need to say, okay, they're all going in the bin. There's so much cool stuff in here. Okay, as long as you still think it's cool and you got room to save it, good. So okay, so that one's done. And these are the giveaways. So put them over there. And these are giveaways. So there we go. Those are for charity. Now your pile could be to resell. You could be going on Facebook Marketplace. You could be taking it to your guild's sale. You could be having maybe a fabric yard sale of your own, something like that. Okay, so the last thing is that the yellow bin is overstuffed. Overstuffed. Look at this. So what I need to do is take all of this out and sort it. So just take it, resort it, refold it, and get it so it goes back in here and it's not, I mean, this is like, look at this. Get it in here so that it fits. Get the flamingos in there, and there's going to be things in here, and I do have some brown, and I think there's some brown here on, there we go. See this little group of brown? I think the browns might be able to go up with the orange bin because it's not as full as the yellow bin. And that way it'll loosen this one up, and I can be sure that what's in here is really what I want to work with. And like I said, there could be things that they're very similar in color. Like one of the ones would be something like this. If I find two pieces that are similar, maybe this is not quite what I mean, but you know, you might find two pieces and you're like, okay, they're not very big, you know, they're sort of tonal, and so like you might decide I'll keep one but not the other. So like in this case, I'd probably let this one go and keep this one because it's a little bit more distinct, and it's kind of like what I go for. When I have tonal, I tend to pass it over a lot. I want the stuff with more character. Okay, so this, and I also might find some things that are super old that maybe I decide I don't want anymore. You know, I'll just let the go to the charity, and the charity can do things with it. Like this has really been around a long time, and so I might just do that with this one, let it go. Now what I'm going to do is actually sort this yellow bin. I'm going to walk the walk, my friends, not just talk the talk. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take this yellow bin now, and I will sort it and just show you the stacks, and then show you when it's put back in. So I'll take it all out, show you the stacks, show you what I have, put it back in. So, okay, give me a sec. Empty bin, and I've got everything stacked here. So what I will do is just go through all of these. If something's scrunched up and not folded nice, if things are something I'm like, oh, I may just never use that. Like here's one, I'm thinking these two. This one is not that much there. Sometimes if there's not that much there, I might cut this into 2.5 inch squares. Like that one, I might cut into 2.5 inch squares for my scraps because it's not really that big. So I'm gonna put that over here, but this is a little bit bigger piece. So I'm gonna put that in the charity because I'm just not going to use that. And I would just do that through all of this. And I also decided I would take the brown out, and there are some other brown fabrics up with the orange, and I will put them up there. So after I resort these, I will put them in this bin. So There you go. Here are the stacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is the brown. So those will go over to the brown bins. These now will just go back in here, and I can only do 2 stacks. And so I kind of put them in some sort of color order, but I wasn't too picky about that. But now that I've refolded it, and actually I do have a whole stack here. This is all like as much as one of those, not this tall, but probably like half of that stack is to gift to the guilds. And so let me just, come on, here we go. So put half in here and half in here, and voila. So here's the bin, and now I have room, and I can actually get things in there, and I can get new things, and pieces of fabric maybe that came in the collection bundles that were maybe colors I wasn't as fond of, things I'm like, you know, like I said, I like to work with the newer fabrics, and so I don't see myself making anything with any of that in the near future, and so I'm going to let the guilds use them because they will definitely put them to good use in their charity quilts. And so here we go. So this is this. So we'll go back over to the other side of the table and do a wrap up. Moving along, fabric is moving along. If that is your main task for organizing, then I know you will be doing one right after the other of working through all of your fabric things, and we'll have some other fabric conversations during the month. And I probably will do some other taping like that where I do some of the work, you know, off camera, and I might show it to you next day. Okay, your challenge, loose threads, get these sort of organized, cleaned up. Find those little, like a dump zone. If you've got a dump zone like I did, like how did that much thread get like in the dump zone? But it did. And then do your Tula chunky cross blocks. And these little babies are so darling. And they are very easy, but they are small. So I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.